Hello there. I'm going to talk about bovine leukemia virus today because I think it's something that to me, it seems like it's very dangerous, and I think you should know about it. Had you ever heard of it before, bovine leukemia virus? I had not, and I have a feeling that's intentional. I don't think they know enough, and I think there's a few reasons that they're not talking about it. But if you average out all the factory farmed cows in the United States and just average out all of them and how many have bovine leukemia virus, it turns out it's 46.5% to 50%. In other words, about one out of every two dairy cows in the U.S. has bovine leukemia virus. And of course, they kill them off before they really show too many signs of it. So that's why you probably, they can hide it pretty easily. Now, with beef cows, the factory farm cows, about one out of every 10 has BLV, I'll say. BLV instead of bovine leukemia virus sometimes. Not all infected cows will produce infected dairy or infected meat. It's like about one third. It's 39% of the dairy cows and 32% of the meat in samples taken showed positive for the BLV. Now, this is raw milk. It's not pasteurized. It's straight from the cow that they do the testing. At least some of the time you can tell that's how they do it, and they'll tell you it's raw. Some of the time they don't mention what it is. Now, I would say if you know of any of your friends who drink raw milk, you should tell them to stop right away because they could have live bovine leukemia virus in the milk. In fact, there's a very good chance that it's in the milk. Maybe not all of it, but 39% of samples taken. That's something to be worried about. Now, I think also colostrum. If people are taking colostrum powder or anything like that to try to help yourself, just don't do that because they pasteurize that at lower temperatures, and they say, well, it should be enough to kill the virus. There was a whole lot of doubt in how they wrote it and everything, so I would not trust it myself. I'm just letting you know. Now, with pasteurized, this is the weird thing. They are still doing tests. They say that they don't know enough about a lot of this stuff for sure, and they say that with the pasteurized, it may be enough to they'll say, oh, it's enough to kill the virus or render it inactive. So you could have inactive viruses, but they go into your body when you drink the milk. They are in the milk even after it's pasteurized. It's just like a dead virus in there. So you're getting all these dead viruses, and they said they're doing studies on whether it's going to affect whether it's going to possibly make cancer cells later or turn into leukemia, or whether it's somehow, just it being in your body. I think they're more concerned that it might aggravate and cause cancer cells to grow more rapidly. So that's something they're looking at. But keep in mind, only one bite of meat that's undercooked could give you bovine leukemia virus, an active version. So if you eat your steaks and your hamburgers raw, medium, or not raw, sorry, but some people do these days, and that's really bad. But okay, rare, medium rare, or medium. And I used to always get medium rare. As long as there's even a very thin pink line, you can get bovine leukemia virus in your system. Now, with me, I always liked it crunchy on the outside and really well done on the outside, but that causes more chance of cancer too. So even overcooking it to try to make it safe, I don't think it would really make it safe from everything. It might kill the bovine leukemia virus, but it still might give you cancer. So, you just really need to stop eating meat. I would say all animal meats, because even if they don't have BLV, they'll have other things like chicken tends to have side effects of some autoimmune diseases, and also it's covered with like E. coli and salmonella a lot, and they'll say, don't wash your chicken because if you put water on it, it'll spread all over the sink and all over your kitchen, and instead bake it off. Just keep it on there. Keep E. coli on there and just bake it off and eat it. It's just, it's disgusting. So anyway, I've been vegan since 2010. That's close to 16 years. And I thought I'd be safe from this bovine leukemia virus. But no, in 2003, 74% of human volunteers from around the world were found to have antibodies to bovine leukemia virus, which means two things. One, it's widespread because this was all around the world. They were taking samples. And number two, they all had it. 74% had it because that's how you build up antibodies to something. You have the virus. Okay, so I figure, I could have inactive bovine leukemia virus from all the pasteurized milk I used to drink, or I could have from the undercooked beef. But I feel like my system, it fights off things pretty well because I do eat very healthy. And part two is going to tell you all about that kind of thing. Now, right now I'm going to go on and I want to tilt this a little more because are you still with me? I'm afraid I'm going to run out of time. So anyway, dang it. Okay. I just kind of like balance it there. And so anyway, can it get out of our systems? AI says no, it can't. It can get in your DNA and it'll be there the rest of your life. But again, it could be something that just stays dormant, kind of like herpes, it stays dormant for like 30 years after first a couple of little attacks, and then it'll stay dormant for 30 years. And then all of a sudden, if you get stressed, it might pop out again. Or if you have like a low immunity, you get sick, it might pop out as herpes. Now, so the leukemia virus could just all of a sudden come to life after being dormant. They're studying that. They're not sure, but they say it could possibly do that. And the problem is then you'd probably have leukemia and possible cancers, and that's they wouldn't go away. I mean, it'd be really hard to cure them. Sometimes they're curable, sometimes not. So sometimes I would think you'd wonder why they don't tell you to stop eating beef altogether and stop eating these things. But, it's money making. There's lobbyists for the meat industry, all that kind of thing, and they don't care about us. They do not care. So that's part of the problem right there. That's why they don't tell you things. Now, researchers took worldwide samples of tissues in people and that had breast cancer, and 37%. Okay, samples of people with breast cancer, 37% had bovine leukemia virus in the breast tissue. Bovine leukemia virus in their breast tissue, and they said that they think that there's a statistically significant association between the presence of BLV in human breast tissue and an increased risk of breast cancer. I'd say so. I can see that I'm going to run out of time. I'm going to do a part two, and I'll try to squeeze everything into part two. And part two is going to be a lot about how to make your system so strong that you can possibly fight off these things and fight off the cancer. There's some wonderful statistics and some wonderful things I have to tell you. So look for part two.